It is a Thursday night. We are ready to talk about the legends. We got our turkeys over there ready to, it's that time of year. So very excited for this very special Thanksgiving themed episode. But before we get into it, before the gratitude, let's get the complaining out of the way. We've got a problem in my family. And that is, I got a bone to pick with the American elementary school system. Okay. Why is it that schools let these people come into my kids' schools and do these yo-yo demonstrations? And then they try to sell my kids yo-yos. They do this that my kid's
What?
like,
Hey,
she's
kid,
like, hey,
you want a yo-yo?
She's like, can I have $8 for a yo-yo? And I was like, yo-yos? We're still doing yo-yos? We've been doing yo-yos for 20 years. I bought the yo-yos. The guy comes in and he gets up, he's down and down, rock the baby, and then sling the baby over the shoulder, and then back over here, and then it is really amazing the kind of stuff they can do with the yo-yos. But then they try to sell the yo-yos to the kids. I was describing this to my coworkers. I was like, oh man, I feel like an awful dad because I told my kid no to the yo-yos, and she's like, you never let me get anything I want.
Oh no.
And I was like, I do too. I freaking took you to Chuck E. Cheese for that last school fundraiser, the last time they wanted my money. And anyway, it's insane to me, the capitalism of selling yo-yos to kids. I was describing this to my coworkers.
Well, I was going to say.
Yeah, you got the book fairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They
It's
get
in
the
keeping with the
yo-yos?
theme.
they get the
That
kids
is
so
educational.
excited about it, and that like no matter what it is though, like Yo-Yo's book fair, we had a book where it came with like a bunch of string tricks you could do. You could do a bunch of tricks with the string that came with the book, and everybody had to have that book. And my parents were like, "What do you need that for?" Like, I'll make you a string. I got plenty of
You want
yarn.
a string?
They even sold a counterweight for the yo-yo to do
No.
new tricks.
What?
And that counterweight was about half the cost of the yo-yo, which, I mean, it was a piece of plastic that, like, nowadays you could 3D print. We're talking back in the 90s when they probably had to pour the iron into the mold. And
Hold on, we've got visual aids in the
What
background.
in the world, Wes?
You don't have
There you-
a butterfly yo-yo from Duncan?
oh yeah,
Oh
classic
my
butterfly
gosh.
yo-yo.
I had
from
a green
Dunkin'.
one back in the day.
Wes can't even get it up. Oh, that means.
All right, Jared.
Baby's asleep.
We were just pre-show like, all right, this episode we're not going to say anything on accident that sounds like something else, and then
I'm only 38.
3 minutes in.
It's not time yet, all right?
Oh my god.
Mine
There's
was
websites
purple.
for that, Wes.
I got a purple one when I was in school. The Omega X Brain.
Oh, the
It had like
Omega.
It had like a spring inside, and it would go.
Oh, yeah.
When you put it to sleep or whatever. I told her she was not happy with the solution. That when we go home for Thanksgiving, I would be happy to look in the storage unit for my old yo-yo. She was like, okay. All right, so I'm telling.
I mean,
Go ahead,
Two
Freddie.
yo-yos. There were two yo-yos that were like hot commodities during like the. There must be like a yo-yo cartel who just plans
The
this
yo-yo
in the back.
cartel.
"Oh, we're gonna in
They're
5
like-
years we're gonna come back.
Fierce rivals of Black
Right? Like
Sun and Crimson Dawn and
But
other
it's
Legends
yo-yos.
There you go. So back in the day, there were two yo-yos. There was the Bumblebee. I'm not sure if you guys remember the Bumblebee yo-yo. That was like
Sounds cool.
one of the professional level, but consumer level yo-yos you could buy. Everyone wanted that. It was black and yellow, and there was a bee right in the middle. Bumblebee yo-yo. Pretty popular. And there was another one that was like $200 back in like 1990s dollars, which pretty expensive. It was called a silver bullet, and it was literally I'm not sure if it was stainless steel or what kind of silver it was, but it was a silver for sure. And
Wow.
It would come back, it would sleep real nicely, and then boom, hit you right in the hand, and it broke a lot of kids' hands.
Oh, I mean, they could. The one that I had, it had some serious kickback. Now, when you try to do it, you put it to sleep and it doesn't wake up. It's that old. It's like, I'm good. I'm gonna stay down here. Emily, you didn't do the yo-yo thing in school.
Okay, so I had a yo-yo. I was homeschooled for a lot of elementary
yeah,
school.
you missed the demonstration.
I went 1 year, and I'm pretty sure the yo-yo was from that 1 year, but I don't remember a demonstration.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like I missed out.
Somebody's got to teach
Jared
Emily's
had it,
parents
though.
how to do the tricks.
I know. I need like a. You gotta recreate that. Let's create a montage for Christmas or something.
She's not going to learn it from me because, as we just said,
So here's the bumblebee.
There it is.
Oh.
There it is.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
that one looks old school. We'll
Look
say
at
that
that.
much.
And this is the one that hurt everybody.
Ooh.
Yeah, that one looks so hardcore. Welcome to Legends Lookback, where you can learn about some hardcore yo-yo knowledge. I was telling all this to my coworkers. I was like, I can't believe they're still doing this. They did this 20 years ago when I was in school. And then my coworker, who's maybe twice my age, he's like, they've been doing it since I was in school. Then, guy next to me, he's in his, I'd say 60s.
Cartel.
He's like, they've
Yo-yo
been doing it
cartel.
since I was in school. Finally, across the room, our 80-something-year-old janitor hasn't heard this whole conversation. He's like, what are y'all talking about? And we were like, Larry, we're talking about yo-yos. We described him. And he's like, oh, they've been doing that since I was in school. I lost it. He's at least 80. Could be 85, 86. And these yo-yo demonstrations, this stuff runs deep in the
Clearly.
in the American education system. So let us know in the chat, what's your yo-yo game? Am I a bad dad for putting the foot down on the yo-yo? And show us
Where's
your
your
yo-yo
bumblebee?
tricks in the Discord. We, of course, love to celebrate our old school 90s trivia, especially when Emily has no idea what we're talking about. But I'm grateful that Wes is here with the visual aids. And you know what? I'm just grateful for all of you. And so it's on that note, let's get into our special Thanksgiving-themed gratitude episode of Legends Look Back. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legends Look Back, proudly part of the Youtini podcast network. This is a Star Wars books podcast for people who like to remix their favorite tunes to the AOL dial-up tone. The AOL dial-up tone. Say that 5 times fast. Come on. AOL dial-up tone. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where we celebrate our rich EU history as well as dive into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays, and tonight we've got an extra grateful version of Freddie C.
You've got mail is also what you would hear. Hey everyone, I'm doing
going to the remix.
Doing pretty fantastic. Yeah, I was looking at all of our old episodes, just going back in time, looking at our catalog, really appreciating a lot of the comments on the YouTubes. A lot of good comments there, a lot of people interacting, and that feels really cool to see that. So I appreciate it. We do see what you're writing, so make it good.
Yeah, especially to that one guy who we've never had an F word in one of our comments until my little brother's on the show.
No.
And one of his friends, that wasn't him, it was one of his friends is comments on the joke that my brother made at me, and he says, that he owned me. We'll leave it at that. And so shout out to my brother and his hooligan friends. Also, speaking of hooligans, we're joined by Emily Daybeck. How are you?
I am doing well. I had a hooligan over for dinner. A friend of my husband's from work. Turns out he's a Legends guy. He was like, so tell me about your Star Wars podcast. And he was low-key flexing, well, Disney acquisition was awful. Hated the new trilogy, hated it. And I was like, okay, so what do you do? He's like, I like the books. I'm like, I do too. That's really cool. I got some conversations to be had.
Love it.
We had to kick him out actually, so I could set up for the podcast.
That's speaking of Disney acquisition, you're also kicked out. So that's awesome. Shout out to Emily's friend and to Legends, and also to Mickey Mouse for that one. Also shout out to our fill-in producer tonight, Wes Jenkins.
Hey everyone. Do you remember all of the free AOL 50-hour discs that we got in the mail?
Oh yeah,
And
we collected those things, man.
Yeah, we used to throw those at each other
There
Like
were
Ninja Stars?
there were so
Yeah,
many.
exactly.
And then there was also Net Zero, where you get on the internet for free. You don't have to pay anything, but they only allowed a certain amount of time per week. So you made multiple accounts with 100 different email addresses.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
That is.
I'm in the right
great.
place. I'm just gonna
Yes,
say.
you are. You are absolutely. Oh yeah. We had a drawer, so the computer desk is here, and then the drawer was just full of nothing but those AOL CDs. We didn't use them. We just had a regular AOL account, and I think it just renewed. But we just paid for it, and I'd get on there, and there was like Youtini for Digimon, and I would spend all my time learning about new Digimon. That was that. Welcome to the internet
Nice.
in 1998, folks. And also to Legends Lookback. Very excited to get into it tonight. And if you like a show where one of the co-hosts makes this face half the time, that's Emily's face. It's some of the crazy stuff that we say. You are in the right place. Yep, there she is. Not at all embarrassed. Let's see the face, Emily.
No.
Show us the. I can't believe I just said that face.
There are like
very-
10 of them, Jared. I don't even know.
There's
It's
the
half the time I'm covering my face with my hands because I'm laughing so hard.
that's a
That's
good
true.
one. That's a good one. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
the one where it's like, okay, where are we going here? And then you'll crack up because it goes
We need-
somewhere.
We need a
maybe.
montage.
I was
of
gonna say,
Emily's
y'all need to
faces.
show me what my face looks like 'cause I'm not paying attention.
Shout out
Paying
to
attention to
Oz,
whatever foolish thing
our,
you just said.
Yeah, shout out to Oz, our video editor. Oz, this one's on you.
Yes.
You've got to come up with a montage
Oh no.
of
Oh,
Emily's
no.
faces.
No.
Just of the and the and
Okay.
of course the classic.
Oh yeah, that one.
And for our audio listeners, check us out on YouTube because you can see the faces. And we are grateful for you no matter where you are listening to the show, watching the show, or just playing the show and not watching or listening and letting us get those YouTube hits, those hours in. So we appreciate you no matter where you fall in that spectrum. We're going to share our love for a handful of different things about Star Wars Legends in particular tonight. But before we do, we've got a handful of updates about what is happening around the world of Youtini.com. Freddie, lead us off with the Youtini updates.
Yeah. So we had the most recent episode actually of Star Wars Archives was all about sports, which is sort of what's happening right now, right? We had the World Series and all that. So don't miss that, especially if you want to see what kind of sports they've got in Star Wars. It's pretty interesting, honestly.
It is hilarious.
It's really cool.
The
show.
second I started listening, I pulled over my bicycle, I pulled out my phone, and I added this to the show notes because this one, it's got to go down. It's one of these things like I'm a little bummed that they thought of it before I did. Let's be honest. So we're not going to cover it. You got to go on over to Patreon and check out that most recent episode of Star Wars Archives, which leads me to my follow-up question. Did y'all ever watch the show on Disney back in like 2000 called Z Games? It was
I
kids
heard about
creating their own sports.
yeah, like
It was
using-
rad.
using like backyard tools and kitchen stuff. Like for instance, maybe I'm not sure if it was a shovel, but like a shovel with a plate or some sort of bowl, and there was
I
like
don't
water
remember any of
balloons
the
in it.
games. None of them. I just
Yeah, there's like
remember-
water balloons in it, and
that
you
it
had
was
to catch it without it popping on you. But the whole point was like it popped on everybody.
Anyway, shout out to Z Games, the
Yeah.
show from 2000. They got exactly one season.
So cool.
I would imagine they ran out of ideas because all the good sports have already been invented. So
Well, yeah.
I think I can remember making up games all the time at like my grandma's house when I stayed over there by myself.
Yeah.
I was like, how
That's
can
just
I
called
entertain
Texas.
myself?
Sure.
How can I
Yeah.
entertain myself?
Yeah. There was another good
Sure.
one, Jared, right in the show notes there. It was one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Legends of the Hidden Temple. Blue
Absolutely.
Barracudas.
Yeah, that was
Purple Parrots.
That was not Disney. Was that Nickelodeon?
That was
That was
Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was
okay.
my Nickelodeon era around that time. And it's funny because I feel like I switched from Nickelodeon to Disney to Cartoon Network.
As soon as the characters started saying stuff like boogity woogity, I was out of there. And I switched over to.
When
switched over to
Courage the
Disney.
Cowardly Dog came on, I ran and I just stopped turning the TV on. That
As-
show
as
was
one should.
scary.
It is bonkers. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Before we talk about any more of the 90s nostalgia, let's talk about a couple more of the fun things happening in the world of Youtini. Wes, do you know about the new thing that's coming out next week? You know about the thing?
Jew, is
It's a
it
big thing.
is it our Wookiee week that we're doing next week?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you there. You're gonna have to speak in Shiri Wook.
Is it our Wookiee week?
That was
Yeah,
better.
Oz, we need that one in the
man.
highlight reel. That one right there.
Clip.
I'll try that hard next time. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we got a graphic from our buddy the Joxy. Jose made us a graphic here. We've got a fun Youtini crossover event happening next week, Wookiee Week, happening across the networks at youtini.com. We are going to be talking about everything furry. That could be something else, I guess. We're going to be talking about the beasts that want to rip your arms out. That's right. All about the Wookiees. We're going to do a Legends Wookiee Hall of Fame episode here on Legends Look Back. So let us know in the comments, in Discord and YouTube, all those good places. Twitter, who's your favorite Legends Wookiee and why? Bonus points if you say it in Shiriwook. And so record us a little clip of you doing some Shiriwook, and it might just make it on the show. No guarantees, but it might. It might. We got that image there, Wes.
Oh, the Wookiee Week.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, in the meantime,
look at
I've
your
got my.
koozie.
Hey, this is perfectly timed. My
So cute.
my Wookiee koozie. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Our audio
I did look
listeners.
into like a little Wookiee cosplay for my daughter for Halloween. Turns out they're very expensive.
Oh yeah.
But she ran into a little like child-sized Wookiee at Celebration, and it was like she had met a celebrity.
Yeah, I've got
It
a
was
video
awesome.
of that. Yeah, maybe we'll pull
Oh
it up
my
next
gosh.
week for Wookiee Week for sure.
Mm.
That definitely belongs. There it is.
Ooh.
The Wookiee
Oh,
Week
there
graphic.
It is.
It's beautiful. I love it. Thank you
Oh.
to Jose for making this. Y'all like my little tagline I've got there?
I
Yeah.
do like that. I do.
like Shark Week, but scruffier.
That's right. You have
Did
to
I
say
say that right, Jared? How was I supposed to say that?
No, I mean bonus points if you try to say it like a Wookiee, but
Absolutely not. I can't do that.
it's
Come
a little
on.
bit harder to
Nope.
understand. I will admit.
My husband is really good at it, though. That's how he and my brother greet each other. It's very strange.
Is
I
it?
love it.
Yeah, because like Mike doesn't really understand Star Wars like at all, but he is really good at making Shriwook noises. I don't
Love
know,
that.
Wookiee noises.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask any follow-up questions about that one.
Nope.
I do have one last thing for us to talk about here, Emily, and that is our next roundtable. You remember what I'm talking about here? What?
Don't at me.
You don't want me to gloat about the fact that I won? We had a vote on the Twitter of what is going to be our next roundtable here on Legends Look Back. There were 4 books in contention. Freddie, you remember what the books were?
Let's see. Mine was Scoundrels.
Yeah, that one got the
Okay.
fewest votes. Sorry.
I love that book.
Let's see. What else did we have? Yeah, great book. Fantastic ending. Come on, guys. What else did we have here? What did you pick, Emily? Do you remember?
No,
This is terrible.
I am like really. I don't like where this is going, Jared.
Death
Let's
Troopers-
just skip this part of the
Death-
show.
Death Troopers was your suggestion, and
That's
I
right.
actually thought that was the best suggestion
Oh, thank you.
because we just got the
No.
new ELC for it. We just had Halloween. We've got an audio book for it. That's a big one. It's easier to get through. It did not win, even though, I'll say it right here on the air.
To Jared's win.
That would have been a
Mm-mm.
great pick. Rick's, he had a
No.
little bit of indecision, so I picked one for him that I knew nobody was going to pick, which was
What? What? That's not fair.
Yeah, that's definitely not fair.
he said, okay, I don't know. I can't decide. Just pick one of the Clone Wars books I haven't read yet. So I picked Clone Wars No Prisoners, which is a decent book, but it doesn't have the snap to it, the ring.
Ruins it.
You know what does?
Jared, don't you
Can-
say
hey,
don't.
can I have the
No
one? Can I
way.
have the
Take
one?
it, give it to him. Give it to him.
Let me see put me in the limelight here. Here is going to be our next roundtable on Legends Look Back. Can I get a drum roll? You got a drum roll button over there, Wes?
Oh, I do.
Don't do it.
Oh, do you really? I
Oh,
was
damn it.
joking.
Hold on. Wait. There it is.
The next roundtable on Legends Look Back
No.
coming up next month
Take a sip.
or whenever we finish it and have time to talk about it. I will say it's kind of short. It's not even 300 pages. Emily's especially excited about it. I feel like we need a drum roll for the drum roll at this point.
I'm doing the drum roll. You must not be able to hear
No,
it.
that doesn't sound right.
No, okay, but apparently it was on there. Here it is. Aha. Star Wars
Oh.
Galaxies, The Ruins of Dantooine.
Love it.
This is our next roundtable on Legends Look Back. And Emily, the folks in the chat did say that it's because you protested it that they voted.
No, that is not why.
They did. It's I've got receipts.
I love it.
So I've already read it.
Okay, fine.
So y'all have a good. I'll see y'all in a month. I'm gonna read
Ruins
it.
of Dan. What is it even about?
It's about the ruins at
Dantooine.
Dantooine
Wouldn't
in
you-
Star Wars Galaxies.
I heard it was one of the best covers ever. Like
Many
It's
people are
awful.
saying this.
drawn.
It's widely regarded as
Right
one
up
of the
there.
one of the most popular covers in Legends history. You're gonna love it. As I called it, the Legends Lost Stars.
No, it is
Oh,
not.
really?
I stand by that.
There's no
I don't know.
possible way.
I said it here on the show. You'll find
You
out.
did.
You have to read it and find out.
You did,
Oh,
and you know what? I had Ruins of Dantooine displayed along with I think it was Ruins of Dantooine and Truce of Bakura at Celebration, and people were like, that book's all right.
What was funny was Corey was like, "Yo, who put this here?"
And then just left it.
It's
like,
the book
"Oh,
that I
yeah,
was.
Freddie."
It's the book that I was currently reading when I was at Celebration. I read this
Yeah.
in Freddie's house, this very copy, and
I'm not.
we didn't
buying
really
this.
have enough books on display. I felt like our shelves were a little sparse, so I pulled it out of my backpack and I stuck it there. And Corey was
Nobody
pleased.
wanted to take that. It seems like it would be
No.
like a hot item that somebody want to grab.
Thankfully, no, I kept my eyes on it. They were not about to take my copy of The Ruins of Dantooine. Tom from Delray, got to say that like Jake from State Farm, right? Tom from Delray, he came by and said, "Wow, can't believe that one's on display." Shout out to Tom. We're thankful for Tom.
Burn.
Speaking of thankfulness, let's get into it tonight. We've got American Thanksgiving right around the corner. I say American Thanksgiving because I learned on How I Met Your Mother that there's also Canadian Thanksgiving. When is it? I have no
Oh.
idea, but there is one. And we have Canadian listeners. Shout out to Cheryl and other folks. So, yeah, sorry, I couldn't remember all the Canadians, but you just wave your maple leaf flags and I'll see you. I'll see you out there. All right. It's a good time for us to talk about the things that we are thankful for. Look back, be grateful, because let's be honest, there's a lot that isn't great in the world.
Yeah.
But there is a lot great about Star Wars, and we are going to talk about that tonight. We have some guest appearances from some special folks behind the scenes at Youtini to share what they love about Star Wars or about Youtini. And without further ado, we're going to get into it. Who do we have first, Wes?
First up is Parker.
What's going on, Legends Look Back? It's Parker. You may know me from Youtini's TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube channels. When Jared asked us to make videos about what Legends means to us, immediately I thought about, for me, the best part about Legends is how long Legends wasn't Legends. How long Legends spent as just Star Wars and the extended universe. And there was no such thing as canon in Legends. There was no Disney acquisition. Not to say that I dislike the Disney acquisition or anything that we put out since then. But from the 70s all the way through 2014, there was no such thing as Legends. It was just Star Wars. And this is when it wasn't necessarily so cool to be a Star Wars fan. This was when the movies were done. For like 10 years there, between 2004 and 2014, the only thing we had was the books. All we had was what is now considered Legends. That was what kept us together as a community. That was what made being a Star Wars fan something that was continuously giving back. You didn't feel like just because movies weren't playing that you were out of the universe. You still had comics to read. You still had books to read. For me, that was one of the most pivotal times of my life when I really needed somewhere to go and somewhere to be safe and feel like I had escaped from everything that was going on in my life. And Star Wars, particularly what is now considered Legends, that was what it was for me. It was an escape and a really good one. One that formed a bond with me that now I carry with me to this day and love making videos and talking about all the time. So I appreciate Jared for reaching out. God, guys, isn't Legends awesome?
Well done, Parker. Well said. I
Love
especially
that.
love that when his video kicked off, we still had the Wookiee Week graphic up there. and
Everybody
I
to
was
know.
really- I was really hoping that the entire announcement would be made from the Wookiee with Parker's voice.
I love that.
Next
That
week,
was
we did a
good. That
video
was good.
of Parker with a Wookiee voice. So
Oh
you
yeah,
heard it
whole
here
thing.
first. Yeah. Thank you, Parker, for that. Great points, don't you think, Freddie?
Oh, absolutely. I think they were all very accurate. If you were around during that time, it was Star Wars. It wasn't Legends, and it was all you knew. There were no movies, especially in between, the dark ages, like the 90s. Yeah, that was it. So all accurate stuff, all feeling good. I love what he had to say. I love it.
Who we got next, Wes?
Next up is writer for Youtini, Mr. J.G. Cars.
Hey, Lookback. I am JG. I am a writer for Youtini, and I am super thankful for the community of Youtini itself, because if it wasn't for that, I would have never dipped into Legends. I would not have read it. I would now not own it, and it's because of the communities, because of my friends in this place, that I was able to change my perspective and really learn and grow, and to enjoy more of the thing that I love most, which is Star Wars. And I will always be forever grateful for that and forever thankful, as it really has changed my perspective on Star Wars as a whole.
Yeah.
Thank you, JG. We are thankful for you. Got to hang out with JG a bunch at Celebration.
Oh,
and man, I love that guy. He
Yeah.
is just so great to have around, very positive, warm. He'll laugh at your jokes even when they're not funny.
Best
He's that
wingman.
type of
Oh,
guy.
man.
Best
Absolutely.
wingman ever.
Absolutely.
He's got
So-
that hardcover Darth Plagueis up there that I saw.
Yeah,
That
he
was
does.
nice.
You see, he had a good stack of the Essential Legends collections too.
Yeah.
I think his stack is bigger than mine, and I'm worried about that because I'm a few books behind. I got to get the new ones. The new wave just came out this week, so got to hit up your Barnes and Nobles or other places that sell books. So very, very excited to get to be on this journey with you. I know that JG is new to Legends. He's only 3 or 4, maybe 5 books in, if I remember correctly. And so I'm grateful to have folks all across the spectrum of their Legends knowledge, like Emily's military buddy and also JG hanging out with us. So tonight we've got a few more videos we're going to play at the end of the show. I thought those were both good, introductory, kicking us off on the right foot sorts of videos. But we're going to get into it around the horn here with the 4 of us with 5 specific categories. And I'd like to hear in the chat online if you would like to pitch in on these categories as well. The 5 categories are an author, a specific author, the way that they've captured your imagination or embody some kind of admirable attribute to the world. Number 2, a particular character that you associate strongly with. What are y'all doing with your hand motions?
I don't know. We're just going on. We're keeping track.
Thank you.
Keeping you on track.
All right. So number 2 is a character. Share a character that you're thankful for, a particular character that you relate to, or somebody who was meaningful or nostalgic for you in a specific way. Number 3, a person in your life who helped you develop your love for Star Wars. So getting outside the universe for a second in the real world. Number 4, a specific Star Wars book. Let me just go ahead and say, has to be a Legends book. This is the only category that I've got to put my Legends foot down on. And yeah, I just made Wes sweat a little bit over there. You're welcome. And then our final category is something about the way that Youtini has helped you find community and celebrate your love for the galaxy far, far away. Freddie, my man, lead us off in the author category.
Yeah, author. To be honest, one of the authors that has really changed my life. You'd think I'd go with the author of one of the best books of all time, but I'm not going to. It's going to be a different author, Timothy Zahn. Timothy Zahn was there during the Dark Ages and built an entire world for us to play in again. And it went further than the movies, but also tied in things from the movies that we could grasp onto. And this world building really carried on through the rest of Legends, the rest of the EU at the time. But I really think Timothy Zahn was one of the most influential authors, not only in Legends, but for me.
Oh, beautiful. Well said. I didn't have anything nearly as meaningful, and neither did Emily, in fact, which is why she so graciously turned over her pick to you. Emily.
I put it in the notes, Freddie. Read the notes. No, if you
Got
put it
that
in the
high
notes,
level
you
area.
have dibs. Okay, I feel like you really have not respected that.
I just watched while Freddie gave his answer there, the word Timothy Zahn.
So Kathy tires.
Timothy Zahn just slowly disappeared like Spider-Man and
And then you suck.
slowly vanished there as Freddie gave his answer. Emily's disappeared, and instead what it says is, Freddie, you suck. So you don't. In fact, I'm grateful for you,
No,
Freddie, as
you
well as
don't,
for you,
you
Emily.
don't.
Do you have a replacement pick? I'll tell you, you can take mine. I've got another.
Well, that's very sweet of you. So John Jackson Miller would be mine. I love him as an author for a variety of reasons. Our roundtable on Kenobi really changed my mind about that book entirely. I didn't like it at the beginning, and I really questioned it being in part of our essential books on Youtini that we recommend, because I was like, why is this so important? But after discussing it with y'all, oh my goodness, the layers. I loved that. And then particularly after living in the desert, it just really opened my heart to the desert. It was just, I thought it was beautiful, a beautiful piece of literature. And I also love that he's such a friend to our show, and he's so engaged with his readers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love
It's
that.
really
I
special.
appreciate just how much he has shown love to us, and as a show, he came on the first time and he referenced something that we had said about the books in a previous show, and I was like, whoa, he'd been listening. And that was a really cool feeling. Also, Rick says he also votes John Jackson Miller for his pick because he's a Star Trek author. So thank you for that, Rick. And also, you've been replaced, in case you hadn't. No.
Hear that,
Grateful to
Rick? Good riddance.
To have Wes here.
Wes
Wes, I
is
hope you're
sweating.
free
He's like,
every.
"Got 2 shows now."
I hope you're free every Thursday night for the rest of your life. All right. Would you like to go, Wes?
Go for it.
Sure.
You have a Star Wars author. It doesn't have to be a Legends author, but it can be.
Well, I actually have 2. And
Go for it.
It's Timothy Zahn and John Jackson Miller. I'm just kidding. I am gonna pick Matthew Stover for his work
good.
on Revenge of the Sith, and mainly because I don't know why it took me so long to read that book. I feel like I've seen the movie. I don't need to read the book. It's no big deal. I know what happens in the book, but I don't know what happens in the book because Matthew
even a little.
Stover did such a great job with the inner monologue of all the characters, especially Yoda, Anakin, Obi-Wan. It's such a good read that I recommended it to not only all my Star Wars fan buddies, but also people who don't even read Star Wars. I was like, you want to pick up one that you know the premise of, so you won't get lost in it. You know who the characters are. You've seen the movie. It's going to be a great read to get you into Star Wars. I think Matthew Stover did such a great job with really expanding on that movie, which is really what all the books do as well. So my pick, Matthew Stover.
Good.
And what
Very
took
good.
me
Good
so
choice.
long.
Yeah. I'm glad you finally read it and can
Yeah.
appreciate. Man, I see somebody wax poetic about that book almost every single week somewhere on the internet. So very excited to get to share my picks. Now, number 1, my first one was taken. I handed it over to Emily because Freddie took hers. So I'm going to do 2 just to get back at y'all. Number 1 is Tom Veitch. What are y'all writing? What are y'all doing? What y'all giggling about over there? You typing stuff in the notes and
Yes, just
messing with me
don't
behind
worry
my
about
back?
it. Don't worry about it, man.
All right, here we go. Number 1, Tom Veitch, the author of Dark Empire, recently deceased. May rest in peace. Tom Veitch, the late great Legends author who wrote absolutely my favorite piece of Star Wars literature of all time. That's right, literature with a capital L. That's how much I love Dark Empire. He really infused some, I think, beautiful theological concepts in the struggle of good and evil and light and dark into that one. And it's just one of my favorite it's one of my favorite things ever. All right, number 2. This is not a Legends pick, but I do want to give a special shout out to Kristen Baver.
Ooh.
This is not her. This is a book, however, that she wrote. Just came in the mail this week. The Art of the High Republic. Kristen Baver does this Week in Star Wars YouTube show. And I had the chance to meet her at Celebration. Humble brag, no big deal. She was so extremely kind and gracious to me. Y'all know how I can get a little bit like overeager and too excited sometimes?
Yeah, sign my thing in blood. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to David Collins. Sorry about that one, buddy. Yeah, I met Kristen Baver. Oh my gosh, met Kristen Baver, and I had Skywalker Family at War, which I just read, and I loved it. And I saw her, and I was starstruck, and I was like, I couldn't talk, and was freaking out, and trying to hand her my book, and my papers are falling all over the floor, and I can't find a Sharpie, and I was like, I have a Sharpie, and finally she signed it, and she was like, hey, and she took time to learn my name. Said, oh, you're Jerry. Oh, you're with Youtini. I love Youtini. And so she was very gracious about the company, and Shout out to Kristen Baber. She's a real one. So congratulations on the publication of your new book. It's very good. Very, very good. Not just the pictures. There's a lot of pictures, but also some good text in there. Look at this. Y'all know how much we love a good reveal here on the show. You ready for this?
Oh, take that dust jacket off.
Oh, I thought that was going to be. Yeah, there we go. Aha. That's a starlight
That's
beacon
gorgeous.
up
That
under
looks
there.
great.
Gorgeous, man.
Yeah. Oh,
I love
that's so
that
cool.
so much.
Next category. What do we have, Freddie?
Yeah, so the next one here we have what kind of character did you connect with the most, right? What character are you thankful for and why? This is a good one. I think it's tough. The one that keeps popping up in my head as a visual is Gariel Captison. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, Truce of Bakura. Right?
Thank you.
That's the
I
first
needed
reason.
that. Thank you.
Second reason is we see what happens with Luke a lot in Legends, and he always has someone he's into, right? Some love interest. And I would say Gariel was the first one to say, this is fantastic. You're a good person, but I need to lead my people out of this chaos that just occurred, and put the people first in front of her own life, which I always think about it to this day. Like, out of all the characters I read when I was a child, she was definitely one of the strongest. So very, very captivating person, in my opinion, in Legends.
Well said. I didn't see that one coming. I should have, but I didn't. Emily.
Who'd you think?
No, I should have realized that it should have been a Truce of Bakura character, but
Yeah.
it just didn't
I mean,
cross my
Boba
mind.
Fett's like a close second.
Yeah, it should,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
could have been Boba Fett.
Yeah,
Comedy
I was
there.
trying to think like specifically
Yeah.
Legends.
Well, we know who that Wes is going to pick now because you left Boba Fett on the table.
There you go.
Wes, would you want to give your pick?
Sure. I wish that I could hold off until next week for my pick, but I would say Chewbacca resonated with me the most.
Okay.
Mainly because he is so loyal to his fellow rebels, Han Solo, his family in the holiday special. Should we
There
talk
you
about
go.
that? But yeah, and he's a Wookiee, a few words that we can understand. Yet, I think he is one of the most cunning, yet I said loyal already. I'm thinking of all the adjectives that I could use for Chewbacca.
Rave, stubborn.
Incredibly brave.
Stubborn.
This one goes here. That one goes there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Mechanic. He is a self-taught engineer. Maybe I'm not sure if they have
yeah.
schools.
They're maybe a Votech at best.
Okay. But yeah, I would definitely say Chewbacca is one of my favorite that resonates with me because jack of all
Like
trades.
yeah, Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
Nice.
great hair.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely great hair. Good mustache on Peter Mayhew.
Oh,
Great mustache. I like that they preserved the mustache in the costume of Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Pay attention. Next time you watch Star Wars, just zoom in real close on Chewbacca's mustache. All right, Emily. Speaking of mustaches, just kidding. Your turn.
Actually knew
Who do
that.
we
Well, I was
have?
gonna say, speaking of mustaches, I think you should go next because your facial hair for the running of the hoods. I mean, hats off, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was.
I took off my mask and you were like, "Oh,
I was like, that's new.
didn't know. Did you borrow that from Oz? What's going on there?" So, shout out to Oz. All right, my character that I am thankful for is the Goat Man himself, Valentine Farfalla.
Yes.
Not
that's
just
a good
for
selection.
the fact that I'd read this book, a dozen times and had no idea that he had goat hooves. His bottom half was Bothan. No idea. I
Emily.
didn't know it. I recently accidentally stumbled across that clip from the first time we discovered it. I believe it was Darth Tumnus. That's right. The episode that Jacob was on, we were talking about fashion. Go back and watch this. I'll clip it and throw it in the Discord. We were talking about the greatest looks, like the best fashion among Legends characters.
Yeah.
And we had a picture of Valentine Farfalla from the comic that I pulled up there, put it on the stream, and Jacob goes, "Hold on, guys. Wait a second. Does he have goat legs?"
It was like
I remember
the
that.
biggest realization of last year. Where it
But
was
that's
like,
So
Top
one,
10 moment for sure.
one, he brought me joy in an indescribable way. Number two, his name is fun to say. Valentine
That's true.
Farfalla. Number three, and most importantly, as a character, he is an optimist. He believes in the good in people. He's a good leader to his troops. He mentors younger Jedi, and he believes in his commander, Lord Hoth. And when he is losing himself to the dark side, to war, and becomes jaded and his heart is hard, Valentine Farfalla says, "You're going down a dark path, and I care about you, and the path that you're on is going to lead to nowhere." And redeems him. It is spoilers for the first main book. Sorry about that, but it is. I just pulled a Wes. I just pulled a Wes on my show, and I spoiled the book. Anyway, shout out to him for believing.
Stop doing that.
Believing in the good in people. Yeah, it's contagious.
Recovery.
You need to wear a mask or something.
Anyways,
Okay, Emily, close us out on our second question here about a character that we are thankful for.
Yeah, so you guys all have really thoughtful responses. I can't quite put a finger on why I am so thankful for this character, but for some reason, Thrawn just really resonates with me. And like I keep coming back to, he really reminds me of my husband. And I know that that's weird, but like he's just so tactical and brilliant. And like there aren't many Star Wars books that I read and I think, oh my gosh, my husband would love this. But every time I read a Timothy Zahn book about Thrawn, like every time, I'm just like, man, if you would just read this, then it would, like, it's him. Like he goes to an academy, like my husband went to an academy. Like it's just, I don't know. It feels like he's mine a little bit.
Disciplined.
Because he just reminds me so much of my husband. Yeah. Disciplined, like brilliant tactician.
There's Mike.
Okay.
Jacob calls this the Thrushy, the Thrawn plushie. He's become an internet sensation, the Thrushy. I'm hoping that he becomes a financial sensation so I can sell him for money. But at the moment, I stood in line with Emma and Timothy to get this bad boy because I had some time to kill at Celebration and they needed to wait in line for that before something else we were going to do. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll wait in line. They were going to get a Hallmark ornament of Bo-Katan. And I was like, no, I don't want that. What else y'all got? They're like, we got one more of these Thrawns. And I was like, I'll take him. Also, all of the modal nodes, give them to me. I bought them. There they are. So shout out to Thrawn. Great answer, Emily. Go ahead and lead us off in the next category here. A Star Wars book that you picked up at just the right time that helped you through a moment in time or holds an important place in your heart or your life or your bookshelf or, whatever the case may be. A book that you're thankful for.
All right. So a book I'm most thankful for is Shadows of the Empire for maybe an unexpected reason. I know. I was surprised myself, but I think the timing of it was something different. So we had just been transferred to the NICU. My son was transferred to the NICU. And it was about 3 hours away. We had to live apart from my daughter for a little while to be with him while he was hospitalized. So it was pretty dark. And I think the second day we were there, my husband discovered that they had like a resource library that you could get free books. And they had Star Wars Legends books in the library, like a ton of them that I had never read before. And Shadows of the Empire was one of the first ones that I picked up. And so I've got pictures of me reading it with one of apparently my famous reactions, like one of my faces on. Even through the mask, you can see how shocked I am reading this in a children's hospital, because there are moments they really should not be read in a children's hospital. But man, I was just so thankful for that just bright light in a pretty dark and scary time.
Somebody bring me the tissues. That was beautiful.
Almost perfect answer. And now
That was great.
none of us can follow it up.
Wes, do you have a less perfect answer for
Man,
us?
mine is so much worse. All right, mine is a book that is like that. I guess is just the right time. It was always the right time. I don't know. It's Tales from Mos Eisley Cantina.
Oh,
Hey.
Because it's taken me so long to read it. It probably taken me 2.5 years because I have it on my nightstand because like, I can just knock out a story every evening. No big deal. I don't have to actually put a lot of put a lot of effort into this because I'll forget what I read, like because it's a full story. No, there's just short stories from Mos Eisley Cantina. Fantastic, right? Well, I mean, I took it on the plane. I would take it on plane trips. I would take it on like trips to the hunting lease, and I would just like get into like half the story and then stop reading it and have to reread the story again. So it's I think I see. The thing is, I'm not even done with it. I still have like 3 stories left to go, but like the ones that I have read and that I do remember are amazing. They are so like you wouldn't think you wouldn't think the kind of things that go on like with Wooher, the bartender, and just like some of the other characters, obviously that you see in the cantina scene and in A New Hope. But it's a fantastic read. I think it will be, but I definitely will read it again. And I just because I liked like the stories that I've read so far, I've picked up all the other tales of the bounty hunters, tales of Jabba's palace. I have those.
Stop there. Just stop there. Don't read the other 2.
Don't read the other 2.
Those 2 are really good. Okay. The other 2, they're books. They're books.
Coming from the man who's like foaming at the mouth to read Ruins of Dantooine again. That's I feel like that's.
I don't know if I'm
saying
rereading it.
something.
I read it this year. It's fresh enough on my mind, but
I see.
I want you to
So
read
you're not
it.
going to do the work. Okay.
Wes,
okay.
do you remember when we did the episode of Lightspeed skipping about tales from the Mos Eisley
That
Cantina?
was the reason I bought the book. That was it. Yeah.
Perfect. There's a story in there. Hopefully you remember this one, where Wooher grinds up Greedo's corpse.
That's
and
my
turns it into a
favorite.
smoothie.
See, I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to, spoil the book, Jared.
Yeah,
there's a lot of.
I go to meetings about this every Thursday. That's why I can't come on the show all the time. I skipped this
20
week.
stories. I spoiled one.
Yeah.
It's a hook.
It's
to
so
entice
good.
people in. Reel them
Jabba,
in, right?
Jabba, he's looking to give Jabba like the most perfect drink that he can make, and he couldn't find the right ingredient. But wouldn't you know, it's Greedo's grinded up body.
Whole time.
So weird. Oh my god.
Clearly.
Clearly.
All right, Freddie, do you have one picked out? I'm still thinking of mine.
I think this one's obvious. This one's going to be incredibly obvious. It's the book that introduced me to Legends, to the EU. It's the book that is probably the reason why I'm here right now, and it's the reason why I've gotten people like I want to say he's a listener. I don't think he watches our show, but Jeremy, like I've got his letter in here as my bookmark, and it's definitely the Truce of Bakura. I mean, this is
nice.
This is the book that really gave me the insight of what Legends was, what I was about to experience. And I'll never forget, after reading it, I just remember telling people, there's books, not the movies. It's different. There's a whole other thing going on. And convinced a couple of my friends to get into it. And to this day, they're not into Legends as much as I am, but we can talk about it just like the show. They're old fans. So definitely one of my most favorite books, most influential book to me. It's continuing to mean more, as especially when people meme me with it.
Yeah, it's become its own thing. It's got a life of its own at this point, and is really, if it weren't for that book, you wouldn't be at Youtini. You wouldn't have the podcast.
Probably, honestly.
Yeah.
Your favorite canon
Fantastic.
book?
Favorite
Legends
canon,
book.
Darth Plagueis.
All right, here's mine. The Paradise Snare, the first of the Han Solo trilogy by A.C. Crispin.
That's a good one.
And I went almost thought of 5 or 6 others, but I've chosen this one. This is my selection for tonight. First of all, good Thanksgiving colors, don't you think?
It is.
Yeah.
You got kind of got the orange. Looks like leaves falling in the background. They're not. They're spaceships. They're Lambda class cruisers. But I'm choosing this because I had never read the book in its entirety until a couple years ago. I had done the abridged audiobook, as a kid, and had a good grasp of, what I thought the story was about. And I sat down to read it, and it blew me away. I mean, it's a top tier, 9 out of 10 Legends book. It is just as good as they get. It's a favorite of a lot of the folks at Youtini. Charles loves this. Eric loves this. And Freddie, you'll remember this, the conversation that we had with Eric and his partner, Charlie, about this book was one of the most important conversations we ever had in the history of the show.
Totally. If I can just elaborate off that, it really gives the insight of what perspective and diversity gives to insight, right? We have our views and we can bounce them off each other. Someone else from a different background or sex or whatever comes in and they talk about things that they experience that we don't experience, that we never think about, and it really puts perspective on a lot. And I think that's what that interview probably changed the show, and the reason why we decided that we needed to bring more people on, for sure.
Yeah.
And
And shout out to
Emily-
Charlie. She was fantastic to hang out with at Celebration. Really grateful that she came on the show to talk about this. You know what episode that was? It could have been in the 30s. I'll have to give the send the link in the Discord when we're done. So it's a great episode, great interview. This one has got some really thought-provoking storylines in it in terms of addiction and manipulation and corruption in religion. And I am a minister. I wanted to have a conversation about this because I think that it's important to expose and to say that's not all that religion is. That's the deep, dark underbelly. But then you can take the pressure off. It's also got some fun, entertaining things like Merg, Han's little his fuzzy buddy there in the book, the proto Chewbacca. You've got the telepathic rhinos that uvulate.
Oh my gosh! Don't.
Yeah.
We
Undulate.
don't need to talk about that. That's a contextual
Uvulate?
question.
Yeah,
Okay.
uvulate. Is that the word?
Ovulate?
No. They
They
jiggle.
undulate.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's so different.
Ovulating.
Maybe gyrating.
Yeah,
All right.
the gyrating rhinos. That sounds like could be like a punk band. Moving on. Next category. That's my pick. Paradise Snare. Here we go. A person in your life busting through the fourth wall here. We've got a person in your life who helped you develop your love for Star Wars. I'll lead us off. Had just had lunch with this guy a few weeks ago. Youth minister back in my hometown. He was not my youth minister. He was a different youth minister. But I met him and we became friends anyway. Donovan Fox, which is a great Star Wars name. Donovan Fox was a great Star Wars influence to me. I had read some of the books as a kid and then kind of put Star Wars behind me, found out that I liked it. He was like, hey, let me show you what I've got in my office. Lining the shelves. Just a wall of Star Wars books. And he loaned me two of them. One of them, Wes, was Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I was like 15 years old. And so it was a huge catalyst in getting me more into Star Wars books. So huge thank you to Donovan. Hope to have you on the show one of these days. Who's up
Very cool.
next? Emily.
Emily?
I choose you.
Emily.
Cool. I mean, I feel like I've thanked this person over and over, but Corey is
Suck
a
up.
person.
Suck up.
Well,
He doesn't need any praise.
he doesn't. But I'm thankful all the same because I thought he was the biggest nerd, and he lived across the street from me, and so I would go over and help pack the book boxes, and I was like, "What are all these books?" And he just gave me one. He had a bunch of extra books, and so he gave me one. I got real bored and read it, and that's what started this whole thing. So that was humbling to look at him and think like, okay, yeah, it was really cool. He
You
doesn't
getting
need
teary
any.
over there? You getting teary about Corey Helton?
No,
Oh, okay.
No.
I love
no.
that answer. No.
He's
the
Corey.
book was the book I Jedi?
Oh my gosh, no. It was Lost Stars, obviously.
look
This
at
is
him.
before my Legends days. I was still very much canon and trying to figure out what Legends even was. I mean, it's
Nothing
a
wrong
lot.
with that.
It's a
Nothing wrong
lot.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Emily, have you heard of the Legends Lost Stars, the ruins of Danford? For our audio listeners,
bringing it back
Emily
around.
is making a beautiful face right now. It's a
It's called
grin.
a stank eye,
You get
and it's
Stanky.
happening right now. It's
Oh,
stanky.
man.
ready. You're up next.
Yeah, this is gonna be very generic. It's gonna be my support system when I was a kid. That includes my cousins, my older cousins, my aunts, my uncles, everybody. Everybody knew for some reason at the age of like 2 years old that I was already into Star Wars. I remember trying to make things float, doing the whole thing. I remember when the special editions came out, and I watched those with my cousin. He took me to go see those, my parents for taking me to Taco Bell to get every single toy and every single topper for the cups. And it's
got
really
those toppers.
everybody. Yeah,
We've heard.
Yeah. It was everybody I grew up with, not just that, but also my friends, everybody who I've ever met, who knows that Star Wars is my thing. And Secret Santas are always fun because I always know it's gonna be a Star Wars thing. And of course, this one's current. Jared for really understanding, I guess, my love for Legends and monetizing off of that, I guess.
As soon as I heard you say that Darth Plagueis was your favorite canon book, I was like, that's the guy for me right there. No, the real truth of it, Freddie, was I knew that you were on the team and that you had a microphone. And
there was like
that's
4
where
of
we
us on the
started.
team at the time.
That's where we started. Absolutely. Oh, thankful for you too, man. All right, who's up next? Wes.
Me. So I got into the books probably about, I want to say 10 years ago. So it's fairly recent, but I was over at a friend's house and we were just like, I think we were like searching videos on YouTube or something, but on the ground, kind of like under his bed, but not really, were 3 books. And the first book was Darth Plagueis. The second one was Dark Lord. And the third one, I think, was one of the original Thrawn books.
Leia. Oh, okay. It's like something that's a drastic departure.
Bring it back.
But like, I was into the movies, and I would talk. We would talk about the movies, and he was like, don't you know about what happened before? What happened before there was a Darth Sidious?" And I was like, "But how do you know that? Like, how do you know that that's even a thing?" And he's like, "Well, they wrote books about it." I was like, "What?" And then like, I saw there were like hundreds of books, and I was like, I have such work to do. Oh my
You were like, I'm gonna have to go learn how to read, I guess.
Yeah. So, buddy of mine, I'll give him a shout out. His name is Kyle Malazzo. He is he and his wife are having a child here in the next couple weeks. So, congratulations to him, but also thank you very much for getting me into Star Wars books. And then he asked me all the time, which one should I read? Like, what are the new ones that I should read? And I got him into the High Republic, so he's reading those now.
Oh.
Yeah, Freddie can relate.
I read this next section. That's why
we had Freddie read a High Republic book, and it went well. So
good.
I'm grateful that it did. Otherwise, it would have made us look like some real clowns. Speaking of clowns, let's talk about Youtini here as we close out. We're going to talk about, at least briefly here, something in the way that Youtini has helped us find community and enjoy this galaxy that we all know and love. Lead us off, Freddie. What you got?
Oh man, the resources that Youtini has given us, and what I mean by that is the knowledge bank that we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a random question or just thinking about something at work, and I'll be like, "Hey, Trevor, blah 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 blah," and he's like, "Oh yeah, this and this," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." Right? It's that level of knowledge, but also the people that really support us, Scuba Joe, our friends and family, everybody who watches the show. We could have one person watching the show, we'd probably still be doing it. But it's really Youtini as a whole, finding people who end up liking the same stuff as you, but also I'm not able to look at things throughout the day, and I'll have Jacob tag me or Jared tag me in something saying, "Hey, new toy," and it's already, I'm buying it because of them. Like this giant Boba Fett here. That was probably Jacob.
Wait, Jacob's in there?
Yes.
What's up, Jacob?
He's been here the whole time. But just, the accessibility to people that like the same thing, I think is something that we don't get to experience. I've never really found too many people who like Star Wars Legends, Star Wars canon the same way that I do. So it's fun to find people that are all on the same page.
Hey, on the same page. It's like a good little book pun. I love it. Great. Wes?
I'm gonna say pretty much like our whole experience at Celebration was wonderful, especially for the people that we met there that have heard about Youtini that came by, even the ones that have just heard about Youtini, never even heard about it, and they came by like, what is this? What is this? And then you describe like, hey, we talk about the books, and this is the actions and the plots and the characters that came about between the movies, that are within the movies, after the movies, and then multiple people came by. It's like, you know what, I don't necessarily like that much, but my daughter would love it. And then we would point them towards the Del Rey booth, and they would go purchase a book, like from our recommendation. Just come and talk to us at the booth. So the exposure that we were gifted, I guess, at Celebration to help, get our word out and just let everybody know that there's more stories out there than just the movies. It really resonated with me. And it helped not only lift Youtini as a company, but also you just make more and more friends that also like this thing that we like, and it's getting bigger and we're growing like a tumor.
Goosebumps just thinking about it. It's like, oh yeah, the goosebumps are gone when you said tumor.
It's not a tumor. Tumor. Emily's movie.
Well, there's a lot of things to love and to be thankful for about Youtini. But I think probably the thing I'm the most thankful for is that somehow, out of all of the options presented, an entire segment of our community united to select a roundtable based purely on my dramatic protest of it. It really just shows you care. I mean, heartwarming.
What else can you say? Yeah, heartwarming is the perfect word for it.
I've got a couple other words, but I'm not going to say them on there.
Speaking of heartwarming, I'll give mine. On the one hand, I think that Youtini has been a huge blessing for the fact that it's been a way to have real people to talk to about this galaxy that normally, I'm just like in my recliner by myself. And I turn to my wife and I'm like, oh, you'll never believe it. And she's like, yeah, it's not my thing. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to tell you anyway. Okay, so there's a Jedi named Corin Orn. And anyway, it's been really fun to have people to talk to about this. I love that we've got our weekly check-in where we talk about this. And if you're out there and you're like, well, I don't have a podcast, I'm not about to start one, we want you to talk about all this with us. And so join the chat, and you'll be as if you're part of the family in no time. I love having a community. I feel like you're a part of something, to belong, and you're not alone. I love that it's been a way to reconnect with Rick. Rick and I were friends from college, and we basically lost touch. We might have exchanged 5 minutes of pleasantries on social media every 2 or 3 years. That's it. Now we talk for over an hour every single week, and that's a beautiful thing. And I'm grateful for Rick for all that he does for the show. I feel like now will be a good time to give a big thank you to Meg, who was our producer for many months there. And we got the chance to bump into a celebration. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for all the hard work and money and blood, sweat, and tears that went into this show. Genuinely, we're thankful for you. I want to give a thank you as well to the diversity of Youtini. I come from a closed community of conservative Christians, to be honest, and went to a private Christian college where I'm surrounded by people who think very much like me, and Youtini is anything but that. I mean, we have racial and gender and sexual diversity, among all kinds of other things, political perspectives that differ, and we have to find ways to navigate these differences and to hold together and to try to make each other better. And I think it's an awesome thing about Youtini. I'm friends with an Alabama fan. Isn't that crazy? Multiple Alabama fans.
That's more
At
than
least
one.
2.
I need to wash my mouth out after I said that. Go Hogs. All right. What else we got? Wes, a couple more videos, right?
Couple more videos. So next thankful video coming up is from new member Emmy.
Hi, my name is Emmy. I'm a staff writer for Youtini, and I would say I'm most grateful for just like the community that Star Wars books have created, and that I now get to be a part of with Youtini. It's like literally the coolest thing. But yeah, I'm super happy to be here, and looking forward to the future.
Wonderful. They did a great job. So grateful that they jumped in and made a video for us. Don't really know Emmy very well yet. And so I'm grateful to get a shout out here on the show, followed by another from,
Ooh,
well, who is
next-
this?
Well, ex-member of Legends Lookback.
No. We need you.
I'm just kidding. We are gonna give Mr. Where are we at? Rick Grace his time in the spotlight, if you will.
Hey guys, so there's a lot to be thankful for as a Star Wars fan. There is so much good out there. There's great stories, great entertainment, but more than any of that, I think what I'm most thankful for is a positive community. The fans who don't want to be toxic, who just want to enjoy Star Wars together, that is one of my favorite parts. And so this Thanksgiving season, that's something I'm thankful for, is the positive community. Partially that we have through Youtini, but even beyond Youtini, there are so many fans, probably like yourself, who just want to support one another in enjoying Star Wars. And that's one of those places where I feel at home, is among people like that. So thank you for caring about Star Wars, and also just caring about the people who care about Star Wars.
Love that.
Yeah.
How come you don't look that good for us when you are on our show, Rick? Man, that was some crisp video, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
That was good.
He is definitely went to school for that.
And finally, we have a video from the president of Youtini.com. Why do we call him president, by the way? No,
President,
he is everything that we know and love about Youtini. Eric Eilerson.
Hey folks, Eric, President of Youtini.
I can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
What I'm thankful for in Star Wars or Youtini, and I'm gonna be a little sappy but honest and say it's for you guys. I'm so thankful that you've been able to expand my knowledge and everyone else's knowledge about Legends. As a person that didn't read a lot of Legends, I see so much of myself in Emily and all of you that are coming diving in early, and then hearing all the expertise and the fun has been so great. But then I'm also thankful for the four of you as people. We live in completely different parts of the country, and you live such different lives that I live, and just be your friend and learn from you as a fan and as family members and people has just been such a joy. So I'm thankful for you guys, and I'm thankful for you, Youtini and Star Wars, for bringing us together. Love you.
So great.
Oh, we love you too. Thank you to the
Very good video.
4, 5, how many folks did that? The 5 of you for doing your videos. Really, really enjoyed getting to share this with you. Thankful for my teammates. And I think that gratitude as a practice is important to making the world a better place, don't you think?
I think so too.
It's important to also understand, life flies right past you. And if you're not sitting down to be thankful about things or thinking about it, just understanding the time that you have and the people that are there when they're there, it makes for a dull life if you don't do that.
Yeah. We actually have a practice at work where we have a morning meeting, and people will give thanks. They'll give them shout outs to say, hey, thank you for sending me this, this schedule, this spreadsheet, because I knew you had other things going on, but you sent it to me without even get mad about it or something. It's something out of your scope of work, and we do that every morning. So it's really neat to see.
Cool.
It gives people, it's monetary, like monetary gain for stuff like that it's not the same when people tell you thank you and appreciate what you do. It's just through verbal communication and face to face. It's warranted. It's nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about that. Especially
That's
when
great.
it's a forced practice of the company. So you have to say thank you to somebody.
Who are you going to thank today? There's got to be somebody you have to thank. Thanks for having this meeting, I guess.
That's right. Thank you for my paycheck. I really need that to pay the rent. And with that, in our extra sappy special Thanksgiving episode, we're going to close with a song. Give thanks with the grateful heart. Just kidding, we're not.
Oh, no,
Thank you, everybody, for
keep
joining us
going.
here for Legends Lookback. Emily believed me there for a second. She was like, are we supposed to sing along? Or
You know my opinion on songs and books, Jared. Don't you even?
have you
I
got
cannot get on board
the
with
song-
Tolkien for that reason alone.
in the
3PO
Courtship of
song?
Princess Leia? That's a good one.
Oh my God.
Have you read that one yet, Wes? There's legitimately,
not.
I'm not kidding. There's a song that C-3PO sings called Han Solo. What a man, Solo. At
Is it by In Vogue?
it's so I'm getting sweaty just thinking about it. But you know what else I'm thankful for? I am thankful for our extra special crossover event next week, Wookiee Week. So you won't want to miss it. It is kicking off on a little show. Wes, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, called The Living Force on Monday night.
It's all right, I guess. I miss it from time to time, but I get it when I can.
We are going to, of course, also chat about all the Legends Wooks here next Thursday on Legends Look Back. And then also we've got some fun stuff in the cooker, as the young people say, over at the Star Wars archives. And so I'm excited to see what Trevor and Joxy cook up over there. That does it for this week. Thanks for joining us for Legends Look Back. Thanks to our incredible patrons for your support. And I really do definitely 100% mean it with an extra measure of gratitude this week, because that's the topic and I'm going to stay on brand. And thank you to our patrons for your support, especially to the Jedi High Council, Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander, as well as the Alliance High Command, Ashley Ingalls, Elizabeth Cloutier, Sally, and Chris Eilerson. Remember to sub to this channel. Leave us a review in your podcast platform of choice. One might say that that's a way to show that you're thankful for us. I mean, you could say that. Also, if you would like your thoughts read on the show, such as if you want to get in your Wookiee impressions, you can get in your Shiri Wook for next week. Send us a little video, some sort of something or other, and it might just make its way onto the air. You can find us on Twitter at Legends Look Back. There's contact information down in the description below. Also, remember that you can get your great Legends books, such as The Ruins of Dantooine, which Emily is especially excited for. Our next roundtable. You can go on over to youtini.com, click the Amazon link in the profile, and remember to be a force for positivity in the fandom and keep that Youtini fan code. Until next time, may the force be with you.